Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you live in California, please share this video with everybody that you know because you are about to get a second California specific stimulus check coming out later in the year in September. It could be worth up to $1,100 per adult in your family. I'm going to explain all of this later in the video. For most people, for 2/3 of Californians, you are going to be entitled to a California stimulus check. Most people, it'll be $600, but like I said, it could be up to $1,100 per adult in your family. We're going to break all of that down in this video. I'm going to give you the key details. So all I ask is that you like the video and share it with your friends and family so that they can know about this second California stimulus check coming up later in the year. Now, for those who don't know, my name is Kevin Conway. I make personal finance videos and other stimulus news videos all the time. So please share and like this video and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into the very latest details of the second California stimulus check. So for background, Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, talked about giving a second stimulus check to those who are in the middle class. The last stimulus check, the first California stimulus check, was mainly targeted at people who were lower income. And for a lot of people out there who were struggling, who made a little bit less than low income, according to Gavin Newsom, they were left out in the cold. Well, not anymore. If you make up to $75,000, you are going to be entitled to a stimulus check if you meet other criteria as well. So let's talk about that criteria. Well, first off, you have to be a California resident. Notably, you don't have to have a social security number. You can have a taxpayer identification number so long as you are a California resident. That is something that you must be, and you must have lived in California for at least the last half of the year, at least half of the last year. You have to meet those criteria if you want to get this California stimulus check. Now let's talk about exactly who qualifies for what amount. In my description below, I have a link to a California tool that you can use on the California government's website where you can enter your information, very broad, basic information, nothing intrusive, just basic stuff. Are you married? Do you have kids? What is your income? And then it'll populate an estimated amount of money you're entitled to for the California stimulus check. One thing to note, if there's any scammers in the comments or anywhere else that want your personal information, or people like I've seen who impersonate me, those people are just trying to rip you off. Don't do that. Only correspond with people through government websites if you correspond at all. And again, they're not asking you for any information here. It's going to be an automatic check or direct deposit to you, which brings me to how is this actually going to be distributed? Well, like I mentioned earlier in the video, later in September, beginning in September, they're going to start this second California stimulus check. Now, it's worth noting that Gavin Newsom is going through a recall election in September 14th to be precise. So maybe it's a coincidence. I don't exactly think so. Let me know in the comments below. But anyway, the California stimulus check will be distributed in the same method that you get your tax refund. So if you got your tax refund via direct deposit, well, it'll come via direct deposit to the bank account on file for you. If you get your tax return via mail, well, it'll come via mail to the last address on file that they have for you. Now, one exception to that is if you use a online tax prep software and you pay for your tax prep fees through a deduction of your refund scheduled, well, you will not get direct deposit because they set up temporary bank accounts in order to get that refund to the tax prep software. So instead, what's going to happen is you're going to get a check instead of direct deposit. Again, this will occur beginning in September. Now, earlier I talked about how you can get up to $1,100 per adult. Now, what is that all about? Well, let's break it down because it's really two different things. The first is that you can get an extra $500 if you have dependents. Now, it's not $500 per dependent. So if you have two kids, it's not $500 plus $500, $1,000. It's not that. It's only $500 for any class of dependents, one or more dependents. You get that in addition to the $600 base rate for most people out there who will get this stimulus check. Now, you can get that $1,100 per adult. Now, what do I mean per adult? Well, interestingly, this provision in the California stimulus bill applies to each tax return itself, not household and not family. So if you are married and you file a joint tax return, there's only one way you can get the stimulus check of $1,100, and it is through that one tax return. It'll be $1,100 for both of you combined. Now, if you file individual tax returns in the same household, well, you could potentially get $1,100 for your wife and your husband. I mean, whatever the family makeup is, you can get that per adult in your household. Now, that's because the way this law was written is per tax return. So if you file separately, you'll get it separately. Another additional thing, if you do not have a social security number, but you have a taxpayer identification number for this second Golden State stimulus, as they're calling it, aka the California stimulus check, you will either get $0 or $1,000. Why one of the two? I don't really know. I didn't write the law, but this is the way it is written. If you qualify under ordinary circumstances outside of the Social Security number issue, then you will get $1,000 only if you have a dependent. If you don't have a dependent, you will get $0. So just to rephrase, if you make all the other qualifications, you make under $75,000, you've lived in California for at least half of the year, and you have a taxpayer identification number, but you don't have a dependent, then you will get $0. If you have a dependent, you will get $1,000. And that's pretty much it for the California stimulus check, or the Golden State stimulus check. It's going to be distributed in September. And again, one of the weirder things is if you're married filing jointly, you do not get a doubling of that income threshold to qualify. $75,000 is the per tax return threshold. So if you're an individual, you make 75 grand, well then you can get this. If you're a married couple filing jointly and you make 76 grand, you will not get this. I know that seems unfair, and it's definitely different than the federal tax return, but that's the way the law is right now. So let's move on. What is this broadly a part of? This is the California Comeback Stimulus Package, so-called the largest state comeback package, the largest state stimulus package ever created. Now, what is in this exactly? Well, frankly, a whole lot, a lot more than you can cover in any single one video. But the important things, which I will make a separate video on if you really want to know, so please comment below, are that if you are someone who makes a lower income and you're renting somewhere, well, this stimulus bill will pay 100% of all the back rent that you owe to your landlord directly to your landlord, and it'll even pay a few months in the future. There's a lot of details. If you want me to go into it, please comment below. There's other things like $2 billion for utility bills that are overdue that will also be paid to the utility provider from the state. There's a lot in this bill, and so I'll go over it later if you want to know more. But again, that's all you need to know about the Golden State stimulus. Please share this video and like this video if it helped you out in any way. And one last thing, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm curious to hear what you have to say. Do you think this stimulus payment is only because Governor Newsom is being recalled? I personally think that it's not entirely unrelated, if you want to ask me. But anyway, that's for all of you to decide. Thanks for watching the video. My name is Kevin Conway, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.